What's up guys, welcome to Film and TV Reviews. Today I'm reviewing The Predator, the fourth in the franchise. This time a Predator ship crash lands on Earth, a military man then finds the ship and the equipment, takes it for himself, so another Predator ship is sent in to clean up all the mess. And I kind of like this film despite its many flaws. This is a ridiculous and bonkers film. And if you want believability, if you want plausibility, if you want something that makes sense, probably watch something else. Luckily, the story is very fast paced. It's literally non-stop from the word go. It's a full-on action movie this time. The horror genre elements of the past films are almost completely gone. And that's kind of a good thing, because if it's slowed down at all, you'd start really noticing and paying attention to the many flaws of this film. So the fact that it keeps going, it distracts you. The story, like I said, is ridiculous and bonkers. Try not to think too much about it. It's about aliens hunting each other and killing humans, basically. The human characters are all pretty stupid and dumb. They're never really explained very well. There's a lot of humor in this. This is a Shane Black film. I would say the humor is hit and miss at times. Sometimes it's really hilarious. Other times it's just crass and crude for the sake of it. Maybe even at times borderline offensive, maybe. I don't know. Ultimately, this is a cheesy and corny action film. It's essentially a B-movie franchise that's trying to be an A-star action film. And the action, luckily, is great. It's a really good action film. A lot of violence, a lot of gore, really fun action in there. But as for an actual story, it's really disappointing. But yeah, you can probably look over that. Chances are you're watching this film because of the action and the violence. So to move on about the characters now, the cast in this film is really quite impressive. They're all familiar names and faces, big stars, some of them, but they're all really underutilized and poorly used. And Shane Black usually has a history of using characters pretty well and having some really interesting characters in his films. Sadly, this time, no, the characters just lack depth. They're not interesting at all. A lot of them are doing things that simply don't make sense. So Olivia Munn's character, for example, is meant to be some sort of scientist. Her backstory is never given. Details about her character are never given. One minute she's a scientist, next thing she's chasing after the Predator with a tranquilizer gun of some sort. She's being like a military person, and it just doesn't make sense. It's not explained at all. But she's not the only one that suffers from this. You've got Yvonne Strahovski in there, great actress. She literally pops up twice in the whole film, and her character just vanishes. No explanation given as to what happens to her. We don't know if she's alive or dead. It's assumed that she's alive because we don't see her die. Spoilers about her character. But yeah, she's totally underutilized. She's probably only in it for a couple of minutes at most. But she's a pretty important character as well. All the other performances from the male actors are big, macho, trying to be confident and cocky and arrogant and funny. Very typical action roles here, and very typical comedic roles for the more comedic actors like Keegan-Michael Key. So the problem with these characters is they're all one note. Keegan-Michael Key, for example, is the funny guy from beginning to end. He doesn't really have an arc or a narrative. Thomas Jane is one of the more interesting characters in the whole film, but again, he's kind of borderline offensive, maybe, because he is playing a character with Tourette's. And yeah, you can probably see what the humor is about that, and it's going to be questionable. Boyd Holbrook is fine as the main character, but he's just not that interesting. Sterling K. Brown, meanwhile, great actor again, but here he's just playing a really cocky and arrogant guy who thinks he's it. And yeah, throughout the entire film, he's just a guy that you want to punch in the face. Nothing more, nothing less, which is really disappointing. And overall, in terms of the characters and the actors playing them, it is just a really disappointing film. The characters and the actors are worth way more than what they're utilized here. There's another character which is kind of getting into a little spoilerish territory, but it's the Super Predator, or just a big predator basically. It's in the trailers, so it's, yeah, might not be considered spoilers, but there's a Super Predator in here. It's basically a big version of the Predator, more violent, tougher to beat, and it's really overpowered in the film, and it just feels a little cheesy, and it's like, where do you really want to go with this? And that's the only idea they had. Yeah, they could have come up with something better. To touch on some of the production side of things, I've already said the action's great, the CGI and special effects are pretty good too. I think this is probably the best looking Predator film there is in terms of cinematography and in terms of the special effects and action sequences. The sets are great, there's a lot of jungle terrain, a lot of forest because, well, the Predator franchise is really focused on that area. You also have some more urban environments, there's a suburban town and there's a laboratory of sorts. They're all really well done, really well rendered. I was a little disappointed that this is just a pure action film and not a horror film. To me, the Predator films have always been a blurred lines between being action and horror. This one just doesn't do horror at all. I'm not even sure if it's trying to do horror. So it feels like it's just missed the mark and lost the point a bit. The soundtrack and the score is really overdramatic. It feels like it's from a different film. It's just doesn't fit in with the tone or mood of the film at all at times. That's not to say that it's bad, it just doesn't belong here. And overall, this film is just a mix of really good filmmaking with some really bad filmmaking. It's a real unusual hodgepodge of great and bad stuff merged together to make something that's just kind of okay. Ultimately, The Predator is just a fun mess of a movie. I liked it despite its flaws. The action scenes and the pacing really make up for any of the problems with the story and the characters because it goes along so quick, it's so enjoyable that you kind of just don't have time to think about it much. So that's what I think about The Predator. I don't necessarily recommend it unless you're a fan of the series. I'm Grant Burton. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @_GrantBurton, or you can go and subscribe for my channel that you're watching right now. Give me a thumbs up, leave a comment and some feedback down below. Tell me what you think of The Predator. I'm about to go into spoiler territory now, full spoilers, you've been warned. But until next time, if you're not going to watch the spoilers, thanks for watching. So, full spoilers now. So let's talk about the ending, and particularly the final scene, where they introduce a new weapon/armor hybrid, which the humans can wear. It looks ridiculous, it's clearly setting up a potential sequel. I don't know if we're going to get a sequel, I don't know how well this film done. I don't think it done that well. But yeah, the sequel looks like it'll be ridiculous. Quite frankly, I'm kind of out of this franchise now. This film has kind of ruined it for me by going too far, too ridiculous and too bonkers. Yeah, if we get a sequel, probably won't see it. It'll be just so bizarre, I reckon. One of the problems I have with this film is that the characters don't seem to have any repercussions for any of their actions. At the end of the day, these characters are breaking the law. They're going around killing people and doing huge acts of violence and aggression and no consequences at all. Boyd Holbrook, for example, breaks the law, refuses to obey orders, and yet at the end he's like, yeah, you done good. It's like, no, not really. And his son in the film actually kills someone. Kind of. When he's going trick-or-treating, they attack the helmet then reacts and blows up a house, clearly killing someone. Yet the son doesn't seem to be upset or shocked by this, he just moves on as if it hasn't happened, and no one even questions it at all. Yet the son kind of killed someone. Already touched on it before, Yvonne Strahovski's character just vanishes. She's the mother of the son, and she's in for about 2 minutes. I like her as an actress, I think she's really good, but where did her character go? She didn't die, as far as I'm aware. No mention of her at all. Why was she even in the film, really? One of the things that surprised me about the film is that it took quite a long time before the main characters start to die. It's not until like the final act when they start to be killed off one by one, and it's all gruesome and exciting and action-packed, which is good. It kind of subverts your expectations of this, and it means that the final act of the film really goes by full-on action, really quick. Yeah, there's deaths left, right, and center. Some of them are really good and cool and stylish as well. There's also the Predator dogs in this film. They were introduced in Predators in the last film. I think they're the same things. And one of them survives in this, but is never seen from again after the final fight. Olivia Munn's character is also never seen from again from the final fight. What happened to her? What's she up to now? There's no conclusion given no conclusion or resolution given to some of these characters. Also, in the final scene, we see the kid just hanging out in this laboratory with his dad and all these scientists and military men. Why is the kid there? I don't know. They don't explain it. It looks like he might actually have a job at the military now, which makes no sense at all. But yeah, this film is just so ridiculous, so stupid at times, and it's really disappointing that way on. Luckily, the action scenes make up for it. And that's kind of all I've got to talk about The Predator. I liked it despite its flaws. It is fun, but I wouldn't recommend it unless you're a big fan of the series. So, thanks for watching.